All right,
All right,
welcome
welcome
to
to
the
the
Nurse
Nurse
and
and
Psycho
Psycho
Show.
Show.
I am
I
Lana
am,
Anderson, and I am the
I
psycho. I'm the
am
psychologist,
the
I'm the psychotherapist, and
psychotherapist,
my
and
co-host.
my co-host
Is a drum roll, please.
Margaret.
The nurse, who tends to be a little bit psycho herself. So, right?
All right. So we are talking today about the mind and gut connection. Oftentimes people think of those as two separate issues or two separate things, but just like everything, we are humans with lots of layers and lots of interconnection. You know how you, I don't know what grade it was in, the femur is connected to the, help me out here, Margaret.
No.
Right? Like we're all connected. Like
Right.
everything is connected. This bone is connected to that. Everything is interconnected: mind, body, soul. Our gut is really our first brain. Our brain is really just gray matter. Without all of this information coming from our gut, it doesn't get to our brain. So we want to make sure that our gut is taken care of so that we're thinking clearly, our mind is clear, we have not brain fog, all of those things that cause issues, anxiety, depression. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we would love to have you formulate any questions that Margaret and I might be able to help you with, that's going on in your life, or people who you care about, family, friends that you want to help as well. And I know, Claudette, you're already on some things that are hopefully helping for you, and we'd love to share any improvements that you've seen too. Margaret, what you got for us? I know that you went down a rabbit hole. Tell us about your rabbit hole.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's just unbelievable out there. First of all, I'm jealous of your background, your beautiful backyard, because we're freezing here on the East Coast, which for me personally brings up the seasonal affective depression disorder, which is actually a real thing. When it gets cold and cloudy and miserable here, we can't get out. Who wants to go out for a stroll or work in the yard when it's raining and cold and miserable? So the people that are on the East Coast are in a climate where I know it showed, didn't it just show Minnesota or something snowing? I mean, that's sad.
Yeah.
It's very
Yes.
sad. Right? So this time of year, it's even more vitally important to be plugged in and in tune. Me personally, this is when my sickness started last year, this exact time last year. And that's what ended me up on your doorstep in Mother's Day of 2022, this past year. And thank God Mark saw me. Your husband saw me. He took one look at me, and he can tell you more about himself, but I mean, this is a man that owned numerous gyms for many, many years. He knew everything about supplements and everything. And you yourself also, owning many yoga studios. So you guys were in the know about products out there. And he said to me, I have never found anything like this power drink. Do you want to try it? And it literally saved my life. So if you're out there and if you're suffering and if you've been told by your doctor, well, that's IBS and you're just going to have to live with that. No. You do not. Suffering is optional, literally.
Suffering
Right?
is optional.
Suffering
Yes.
is optional.
We
Yeah.
don't have to live with it.
No, we don't.
So that's one of my challenges. And what I really love to help people with is word phrasing and language, because when our words, they affect how we uh, have our emotions, our body. It affects everything on how we talk to ourselves, how we talk to others, how we receive information, and how we give information back. So if you have a disorder or a disease that's been labeled, a lot of times we become that. So, for example, my husband was diagnosed with Lyme's disease. To me, it's all bullshit. That's my psycho in me. Like, literally, it's all bullshit, right? Because
Mm.
it means nothing, because it's just a collection of symptoms that someone said, this is what's showing up, this is what's showing up, this is what's showing up, and we're going to call it this. And the reason we are going to call it this is because then we have a number to code and bill
Exactly.
for the insurance companies. And
Hmm.
then we have something that we can go, okay, now what prescription goes with this? But the
Right.
prescription isn't the cure or the answer. It's just a band aid to the symptoms, the collection
Exactly.
of symptoms. So I
Mm.
like to work backwards when I'm working with people. So when anyone says any diagnosis, whether it is a mental health diagnosis or a physical diagnosis, I work backwards because I want to get to the root of the issue, because you can
Right.
call it whatever you want to call it. It's not going to help anything. It's not going to
No,
solve it. So we got to get
no.
back. We got to peel off the layers, peel off the
Mhm.
diagnosis, peel away to get each symptom and how they interrelate to one another. And almost it comes down to the gut.
Yes.
And there's lots of other energetic things that could be happening too, right? Because the
Yes.
energetics of the sacral chakra area, the energy field of the sacral, is so much going on. It's our area of metabolism. It's our area where we metabolize emotions, thoughts, food, everything in that area. So if it's not healthy energetically, because of what we're doing or not doing, how we're bringing it in or not bringing it out. There's stuckness or too much fluidity. So we want to balance it out.
Right. Right. And that's, the reason why I went into being a certified health coach, because I was so limited to what I could do in the nursing arena. And I have a couple of people I'm working with now, and the first thing we do is we meet in the park and we walk and we talk. Like, not we're not going to sit in a room and me with my paper and all. Nope, we're out in the fresh air, and every single time they're like, this is so awesome, this is so great, because we're not only discussing the issues, but we're out getting fresh air and sunshine and exercise, which are like three top things that you need every single day. That's the quantum biology, is that sunshine, how vitally important it is, with no sunglasses, with no glasses on, with no sunscreen, just pure sunlight. 20 minutes a day if you can. In the morning and the night is great for your eyes.
And that activates the melatonin. So
Mhm.
I think a lot of there's this misnomer about melatonin that it should only be used at night. Well, that's not true. So when we get exposure first thing in the morning to the sunlight, like you're saying, Margaret, right, is
Yep.
it activates our own melatonin, our natural melatonin in our bodies, to help the circadian rhythms throughout the day, to help
Exactly.
you function during the day and then come down at night.
And the worst thing you can do at night is be on your screens, your cell phones, and your computers, because it's got that blue light which imitates midday. So now you're telling your brain, wake up. It's really 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's why people, I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. It's just like, oh, let me just scroll before I go to bed. I have to make a conscious effort. Like pick up a book instead. Trust me, you'll be asleep in like 3.5 minutes. You'll wake up in the morning with the book like stuck on the side of your face like I do.
Mhm. I'm
Yeah.
wondering, Bob or Claudette, if you have any questions that we might be able to help with or support you with, because that is really what we're here for. We want to be able to share um, any bits of wisdom that we have. Feel free to come on to or off of mute or in the chat too.
I don't, I'm not a good example. I got started okay, but mornings are just such a crazy rush for me to take the time to make the shake and to drink it, or even to drink. Yeah, I'm struggling to make it fit in the morning. So I have not been good about it at all. I still have my stuff, but I am gonna have some surgery in January, so that will be a really good time for me to get started on it and to be able to be to start making it a habit and that kind of thing, because I'll be home for a couple weeks and I won't have to go anywhere and I won't be rushing out the door or anything like that.
I think, you know what? I think that's cool, right? Because sometimes we don't have to go all in and crazy unless you have a really serious, like chronic or really acute issue. Maybe, there's something super serious that needs to be dealt with. And so right now, I know you have a couple digestive issues that you're working with, and maybe you just filter those few things in, have a power shake once a day
Mhm.
and add the biomed in there too. The biomed, you can just mix it right in like a little ninja, and add the amino acids in there. And that will at least help you get started in the right direction. But you don't always have to go full on. Margaret has her story too.
Yeah, I didn't, honestly. When I showed up at Mark and Lana's door, at the Blistopia Retreat House in Mother's Day of this past year, before I got sick, I weighed 165 pounds, like 5'8" and a half, and I weighed 108 pounds. Like there was nothing left of me. And in the beginning, like the first 3 days I was there on the retreat, Mark made me a power shake twice a day. And by day 3, I could already feel the difference in my body. Like I felt like life had come back into me. I had chronic constipation. And I was able to, stop moving my bowels a little bit better. And so when I got home, I immediately ordered my own package, and literally for the first probably at least month, all I did was the power shake, because I was so concerned of all the things that happened to me previously. If I had any sort of reaction or anything, I would know what was what. So if I just focused on that, then if I had any issues, which I didn't, and literally, I mean, just in that short period of time from May till now, I now weigh 130 pounds. It's the only thing that worked for me. And I just took it slow and I added the supplements later on when I felt like I was a little bit better, in a better place. And the other thing is too, like Lana always says, this is your practice. This is your practice. Listen to your body. No one knows you the way you know you. And if your body is like not feeling it that day, that's okay. That's okay. Just be patient and listen to yourself, and it will guide you. It will guide you on what to